Good afternoon, NuMinds Nation. This is day 3 of NuMinds TV. We've taken up the convention of calling each day an episode rather than day or to date them necessarily. So this is episode 3. Welcome to the end of a beautiful episode 3. Just have a couple of points I want to touch on today um, that I think are going to be really impactful. I hope so, at least. So in total transparency, I need to share that I did not even get to see every episode today, and there my dogs just came in the room. Have you seen that? It's actually classic, but it's been going around Facebook and social media quite a bit lately of the BBC reporter who was working from home, and he was live on the air with the main BBC studio, and he has 2 little daughters, and you can see that they got away from mom and they got into the room and they're just making a little ruckus behind him live on the BBC. So it happens to the best, most professional. So actually, I'm glad the dogs came in because that's part of my message today. Is kind of like getting to know the NuMinds team a little bit. So I'm going to share a little bit about my furry family. Okay, so wrapping up episode 3 today, there's 2 main points I want to make. One of them I think is very relevant to you as a parent. So, and it dovetails perfectly on Mr. Justin's session that he had this afternoon with his girls there. And they were working on one of our courses. So the 4 o'clock session every afternoon is called From the NuMinds Vault, right? Where we pull an activity from one of our classic NuMinds courses that go way back. And this one was from City of the Future. And they were working on a little mini project, a little excerpt from the course where they were designing a city. And there was this really poignant moment when his older daughter Lily was sharing her project, and she prefaced it with, "I know it's not beautiful," or "I know it looks sloppy," or she had to qualify it a little bit, and that's very natural. That's very natural for a kid that age. But my point actually is from the parents' point of view. Now, as someone who worked for over 10 years with elementary age kids in the official setting, and then 8 more in NuMinds doing even more wacky projects with kids of all ages for 8 more years, I can tell you something very, very important. When you're working with younger kids, if you don't have experience working with younger kids, and a lot of you, this may be the first time ever that you're sitting there in kind of like this homeschool situation where you're seeing the process from beginning to end, maybe facilitated by some help from your school's online learning program or whatever. This may be the first time that you're seeing the whole process from beginning to end, and you may not have a complete grasp of what to expect in terms of the kinds of products that your elementary age kiddo is going to produce, right? And very important to grasp this. The purpose of education for those younger kiddos is not the end product, okay? The product is not the point. The process is paramount, okay? I just made that up. I didn't even mean to make it all peas, but I think it's beautiful enough that if my NuMinds spotter is there, I'm going to have her, Miss Kristen, type that in. So I'm going to repeat it. It's so nice. I'm going to repeat it. So the product is not the point, but the process is paramount. Okay. I'm going to unpack that a little bit. Mr. Justin actually unpacked it in his session. So I'm going to piggyback on that. So you saw that Justin took that as an opportunity to explain that, like, hey, parents, don't be too stuck on or focused on what you see in front of you as like a finished product, right? You're dealing with humans who are in development. Their hand-eye coordination, their motor skills are not even fully developed yet. The important thing is what's happening in this narrative, right? The final product is just a vehicle to get into the narrative, to get into the internal processing, in the internal processing. So the Future City course is a perfect example. When you witness that full course in action, at the end of the course, the kids have produced literally an entire city made from recyclables. And I'll be totally frank, some of them are eyesores, right? They do not look pretty. And parents will show up at the end of the day or at the end of the camp week, and the kids will have this glow on their face. They have this giant stack of cardboard, and it looks like cardboard, right? And knickknacks and plastic and things like that. But the kid is so excited because in their mind, they have designed a narrative that has solved all these problems related to the city of the future in this case. So when you're sitting there with your kiddos, maybe I know a lot of areas you're kind of still riding out spring break, but I know a lot of places have started their online learning with their school districts. So you're going to start to see the end-to-end process of your kids creating products for school. I want you to focus on the process, not get hung up on the final product there. You're going to have this temptation to polish. If it's something that they're going to have to take a photo of or a video of and submit, you're going to have this temptation to polish it up and perfect it. The important thing, like Mr. Justin did, is to ask for the explanation. That's how you get here. So then when Lily and Katie both explained what was happening with their cities, there was actually a desalination tube that was going on, and she had like the above and below water surfaces and things like that. It's wonderful when you can dig a little bit with some layered questions, and you can see the deep thinking that was actually going on. It's engineering in that sense. It's not engineering as like in MIT produces so-and-so. They're starting to think like an engineer in terms of problem solving, okay? So fantastic. So which allows me to bring up once again, so I know that this closing session of the day isn't the most popular one live. It's not as exciting as our hands-on STEAM sessions or STEAM in Espanol or traveling around the globe with Mr. Walter. But I know a lot of people will watch this on recording. So that's why I'm acting like there's 5,000 people in front of me right now. It's beautiful. So the way I want to wrap that up is it's a perfect moment to examine yourselves as parents and how you relate to the concept of perfection and perfectionism. Okay. If you haven't heard me, I'm kind of like a broken record. A couple months ago, I designed a workshop for everybody called The Beauty of Imperfection. And it talks about different ways to reframe how you handle everyday challenges and even your big term goals, and reframe them in a way that's healthy, that you relate to things in terms of moving towards excellence rather than looking for a perfect final product. So now as you find yourself in the situation of coaching your child through the learning process where they are going to be producing products, wow, what an opportunity for you to do some of this work yourself on how do you relate to perfection. Are you able to relish the process and let go a little bit of that final product for the good of yourself and also in order to empower your child's learning? Because I'll tell you, all the greatest teachers out there, and I'll qualify that even a little bit more, the greatest elementary age teachers out there are the ones who have learned how to infuse the process with magic and focus less on the product. Okay. Oh yeah, Justin just backed me up here. He says, it speaks unspoken volumes when you clean your kids' projects to make them presentable. Exactly. Coming from teachers, guys. This is coming from teachers. We want to see the raw stuff that came straight from here and here. Okay. We don't need mom and dad's work. We want to see what your kids are doing. That's where the value is. That's where the beauty is. That's where it's raw. So I'm putting my spotter, Miss Kristen, on the spot again. And I'm going to ask her to share a link in the comments to our Beauty of Imperfect workshop. Again, you're finding yourself with some more time at home, some more time for even your personal learning. What a great time. We're going to make the Beauty of Imperfect webinar available for free. It comes with a workbook. It's about 1 hour long, the video. You can watch 5 minutes at a time if you want to as you work through the workbook. You can take a week or 3 months or a year if you want to. So we're going to get that link up here to you again. But there's one other thing I want to do, and I feel like it's the one thing that's been missing in this fantastic launch of NuMinds TV, and that is getting to know us a little bit more. Now our audience is expanding a little bit. We've always had our super loyal fan base among the parents who have come to our programs and things, but there's one thing that we really want to emphasize at NuMinds, and that's that it's not really about the knowledge. We have this system that we call, hey, welcome to real life. A little salute from the Cook family doggies. Okay. One thing that's really important in the NuMinds ethos is embracing the teacher as a full human. And we even, from the get-go, Mr. Justin and I got rid of that term teacher. We didn't like it. We didn't like the term educator, too stodgy, too serious. But we needed a word that kind of encapsulated this role. Like you have a creative, intelligent human being who's trying to guide and coach kids through inspiration, like connecting them to their own innate talents and passions. So we came up with the term inspirator. And an inspirator has to come from a place where their passion, the their talents and their knowledge kind of all come together. Hey, Laura from Gear, the Richardson Gear, Gifted Education Alliance of Richardson is on. Thank you so much for joining. If you missed the first part of this, Laura, please go back and watch the video. There's some juicy stuff in the first 10, 20 minutes about working with your kids at home for the first time for a lot of parents. So thank you so much for jumping on. I really appreciate it. Okay, so what I'm trying to say here is the teacher is a human being, and there's no such thing as kind of like a blank slate or a totally neutral approach to a subject. So we encourage our teachers, we encourage our inspirators to come at things through their own passion. And that means as human beings, as kind of vulnerable, curious, passionate human beings who have preferences, who some things they love, some things they don't, but they always find a way to link their passion into what they're teaching. Okay. And at NuMinds, we really have that freedom because we are teaching based on passion and curiosity. So what I thought I'd do is kind of a get to know the inspirator sort of thing. And I'm the first one kicking this off. So you got to meet Justin's kiddos twice already. So that's fantastic. My kiddos are older, so I can't share my kiddos. But what I thought I would do is one thing that I've always found fascinating is when you meet someone's pets, what it says about them, right? First of all, what kind of pet, right? Within that pet species, what breed, and then what did they name them and what's their personality? It's kind of interesting, but it kind of says a lot about the person. So I'm going to introduce a couple of my pets here today, and we'll see. Two of them will be easy to show and share. One will be not so easy, and you'll see why. Okay, so this is pet number one. This is Ricky the Chihuahua. Okay, and his middle name is Ricardo, so it's Ricky Ricardo. No relation necessarily to Lucille Ball's ex-husband, as far as I know. Okay, so Ricky actually is a fascinating story. About, I don't know, 8 years ago, we were about to go to a movie, and we looked out our back door, and this little Chihuahua was in the alley, just peeking into our backyard, barking at us, and we thought, interesting. So we kind of tried to approach and see, like, hey, is this guy lost? But then he kind of runs off, like very, very unfriendly, very vicious in a Chihuahua kind of way, right? And so we went ahead and said, okay, well, let's just go to the movie. And we go to the movie. We get back from the movie, and lo and behold, little Ricky is now in our backyard, at our back door, looking in the window. So he kind of like made it happen himself. He really wanted it to happen. There's our beauty of imperfect links, by the way. Okay. Oh, good. So Laura said she did see on Janet's watch party. Good. I didn't want you to miss that. Okay. So in other words, Ricky Ricardo kind of like beamed it down from a spaceship. I think he didn't have a collar. We put signs all over the neighborhood. We checked the shelter. No one claimed him. So Ricky became ours. And yeah, he is a classic Chihuahua. A little bit yappy, extremely loyal, and extremely cute and cuddly if he loves you. And that's a big if, okay? So that's Ricky. That's dog number one. Let me get this next one. Okay, so who doesn't love a little pug? So this is Romeo the pug, okay? So Romeo's story is a few years ago, one of my kids' best friends had him. And he was still a puppy, okay? And he was kind of in a bad situation. The friend was moving, I don't remember exactly, but he was not in a good situation. So he says, sure, we'll foster him for a couple of weeks. Yeah, famous last words. Have you ever tried to foster a pug puppy? It's not possible. That's the classic foster fail. So his name is Romeo. He loves food. He also likes food, but when he's not into food, he's into food. You kind of get the picture. So pugs are very food motivated, super cuddlers, hates going outside. Okay. Yeah, Justin, exactly. Big if. Justin and Ricky don't necessarily get along. He doesn't pass the Ricky meter. So this is Mr. Romeo. So cuddly and lovable. He's actually pretty skinny for a pug too. We got him on a pretty good diet. All right, and the last doggy I can't show, it is a Rottweiler mix, and she's a little big. She doesn't really appreciate being cradled up here like this, but her name is Nina. She's a Rottweiler. We don't know what the mix is, maybe a lab or something like that, but super friendly. All three are black dogs. Just coincidence. We've got the big, the medium, and the tiny. When we take them for walks, they look like the little like Russian dolls that just popped out of each other, and we're walking them down the block. So I know, kind of like a fun little silly side note this afternoon, but I kind of wanted to make it personal. Pets are a good way to do that, to break the ice. Everyone loves sharing their pets. We love seeing each other's pets, and it kind of lightens the mood in this time that can feel a little bit dark and stressful. So, you know, it's the classic paradox. Like the more you ask for engagement, the less you get. So I'm not going to force you to post a picture of your pet or anything. But that being said, we would love to learn more about you guys. You guys are not just numbers and counts for us. You're not just extra Facebook likes. You're real people out there that we're here, you know, trying to reach, trying to impact during this time. So we do want to know more about you. But we'll start with us. So I kind of kick this off. So my challenge to the rest of the team beginning tomorrow is to share a little bit about you know, you yourself as an inspirator, because even if inspirator is not our main title, we're all inspirators. Like it's kind of a qualification of being on the NuMinds team is you're an inspirator, right? At some level. So when you're on the air tomorrow, NuMinds inspirators, Team NuMe, I challenge you to share something new about yourself that kind of like makes you even more human to our audience as they get to know us, as we're reaching more and more people and fans, kind of getting a taste of NuMe TV. Let's let them know who we are and how human we are and how happy we are to have them kind of in NuMe Nation. Okay, so don't forget to check out the link to the free webinar. And remember, I'll repeat it again. I don't know if they got the quote over there. The product is not the point. The process is paramount. And that goes for yourself, but in particular, in this case, it goes for when you're coaching your kids in this kind of temporary homeschool environment. Okay, folks, thanks for tuning in. Wait, Kristen has a comment here. The pet in my house made an appearance in my parent power hour this morning. I miss Kristen's this morning. I love it. I love those incidental moments. I saw Kristen's sister on day one, but I didn't see the pet in the house. So I can't wait to see some more pets tomorrow. I don't know if all our inspirators have them, but I hope to see some cute little faces. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in, Laura. Hopefully you can share this recording with more gear parents and kind of pass the love around. Thank you, everybody. Good night, and we'll see you for episode 4 tomorrow.